The internet is exploding. As you refresh your feed, the notifications don't stop. A relentless barrage of digital shockwaves that suggest the cultural landscape has shifted permanently. Hollywood is whispering, but the whispers have turned into a deafening roar that can no longer be ignored. For the first time in years, the image of the industry's newest golden boy isn't just shaking. It feels like the floor has been pulled out from under the entire palace. Something darker, more complex, and far more divisive may be unfolding before our very eyes. What started as a simple rumor, a stray comment in a deleted post, or a blurry long-lens photograph, has evolved into a full-scale cultural civil war. We are watching a legacy, built on the image of the stoic, leading man masculinity, collide head-on with a digital expose that has left the industry paralyzed. According to online speculation, we aren't just witnessing a breakup, we are witnessing a calculated unmasking that has left even the most seasoned insiders breathless. Some insiders claim that the phone lines between top-tier publicists have been buzzing for weeks, with the same question being asked in every hushed conversation: is he actually who he says he is? Unverified reports suggest that Teyana Taylor, a woman who has become the unofficial patron saint of resilience and keeping it real, is no longer holding back. Fans believe the clues were there all along, hidden in the background of Instagram stories and the subtext of red carpet interviews, but the reality of 2026 has brought a clarity that no one was prepared for. This isn't just about a romance, it's about the soul of Hollywood's new era. To understand the magnitude of this earthquake, you have to understand the foundation of the man at the center of the storm. Pierre. For the last few years, Pierre has been more than just an actor. He was the architect of a new kind of stardom. He entered a crowded industry, and didn't just ask for a seat at the table. He commanded the room with a gaze that seemed to hold the secrets of 1,000 lifetimes. His public image was a carefully curated blend of British sophistication, athletic prowess, and an enigmatic silence that drove the internet into a frenzy. On the surface, things appeared perfect. He was the undisputed breakout, the man who brought a new level of depth to the screen, whether he was playing a revolutionary leader or a mysterious stranger. He spoke for the craft. He became a champion for the theater, frequently citing his classical training as the heartbeat of his success. His presence was a masterclass in controlled charisma. He was the success story par excellence, often reminding the world that his journey was about the work, not the fame. Then, there was Teyana Taylor. If Aaron was the ice, Teyana was the fire. A multi-hyphenate powerhouse, she had spent years proving she was the most versatile talent of her generation. Coming off a highly public and emotionally taxing divorce, Teyana seemed to have found her peace in the arms of the rising star. When they were spotted together, the internet collectively exhaled. It felt right. It felt earned. They were the it couple of the new vanguard, beautiful, talented, and seemingly untouchable. Their public appearances were a masterclass in optics. They didn't overshare, they didn't chase the paparazzi. Instead, they existed in a realm of high-fashion editorials and whispered sweet nothings in the front row of Fashion Week. For a while, it seemed like Pierre was the stabilizing force Teyana needed, and Teyana was the cultural bridge Aaron required to solidify his status in the American consciousness. They were building a fortress of mutual respect and shared ambition. But as the months progressed, the cracks began to appear in the pristine porcelain. It started slowly, small gaps in their public schedule that went from busy work lives to something more distant, more clinical. The industry watched as they began to arrive at events separately. At first, the fans chalked it up to their professional commitment. Aaron was filming major blockbusters, Teyana was directing and producing. They were a power couple, and power couples have empires to run. They don't need to be joined at the hip. However, the narrative began to shift from busy professionals to something more unsettling. As their interactions became increasingly staged, Teyana's social media presence, usually a vibrant tapestry of her life, became uncharacteristically quiet, or pointedly cryptic. The woman who once stood as a symbol of transparent emotion was starting to sound like a woman who felt she was being gaslit by a ghost. The era of black love, excellence was being replaced by a more defensive, more isolated era. And yet, the fans remained. They defended Aaron's privacy. They defended Teyana's right to keep her new relationship close to her chest. They defended them through every missed birthday post and every unliked photo. But even the most loyal soldiers have a breaking point, and that point arrived when the whispers about Aaron's true nature began to leak from the very sets he was meant to be dominating. The perfect surface was about to be shattered by a reality that no one, least of all Teyana, was willing to ignore any longer. The question wasn't just about who they were together, but who Aaron was when the cameras were off. In the high-stakes world of Hollywood, perfection is a product. And products, as we know, can be defective. The cracks weren't just in the relationship, they were in the persona of Aaron Pierre himself. A man who had built a career on being seen, was now allegedly terrified of what people might actually see. As the background was set, the stage was now prepared for the most explosive escalation the culture had seen in a decade. The escalation didn't happen overnight, but when it hit like a freight train. Online rumors began to swirl in early 2026 following a series of anonymous tips sent to major gossip outlets. It started with vague mentions of a rising star, leading a double life in London and Atlanta. Then came the grainy footage, a moment that sent shockwaves through the culture. Alleged leaks from a high-end hotel in London suggest that Aaron was seen in an unusually intimate setting with a man who was not part of his security team or his professional circle. Social media reactions were instantaneous. "Is this real?" one viral post asked. "Is this why Teyana has been looking so stressed?" Industry whispers grew into loud outcries as fans began to piece together a timeline. Reportedly, Aaron's sudden need for privacy wasn't just about his craft, as he claimed. Some fans think there is a deeper, more complex reality behind the scenes. Without confirmed evidence, theories began to flood TikTok. Was the relationship with Teyana a PR shield to protect his leading man status? Was it a move to secure his masculine image in an industry that still, reportedly, struggles with leading men who don't fit a specific mold? The rhetoric only grew more intense. When Teyana posted a picture of a shattered glass heart with the caption, "Truth is a bitter pill," the transition from rumor to reality felt imminent. She wasn't just hinting, she was beginning to exhale. The clips of Aaron at the Cannes Film Festival, looking visibly uncomfortable when Teyana's name was mentioned, went viral within seconds. Some fans think his body language was the biggest leak of all. Reportedly, the other man in the photos was a longtime associate from his theater days, though no confirmed evidence of the nature of their relationship exists. The online communities reacted with a mix of horror and fascination. Extreme theories surfaced, suggesting that Teyana had caught them in the act during a surprise visit to a film set. While these remain unverified theories, the optics were undeniable. The Golden Boy was now the face of a controversy that challenged the very foundation of his public persona. No longer was he the stoic protector. Now, he was the man with a secret, and the world was watching the bridge between his public and private life burn in real time. Some fans believe that Teyana's recent data dump on her close friends list, which was allegedly leaked by a disgruntled follower, was the final catalyst. They point to the mention of receipts and gatekeeping as the moment she decided to burn it all down. Unverified reports suggest that Aaron's team reached out to Teyana with a hush agreement, offering her a massive settlement to keep the details of their arrangement quiet. Allegedly, she refused, deciding that her peace of mind was more valuable than a payout. The escalation didn't stop with a single photo. It became a daily barrage of he said, she said. Anonymous accounts claiming to be former assistants began to post about late-night visitors and secret burner phones. To some fans, it felt like a coordinated takedown. Reportedly, Aaron's mentions were flooded with both support and vitriol, creating a digital war zone. The Teyana hive was now doxing potential associates of Aaron, looking for any connection to the mysterious man in the London photos. It was a total inversion of the quiet dignity Aaron had spent years cultivating. Every day brought a new leak, or insider report, that deepened the divide. Claims emerged that Teyana had installed tracking software on a shared device. Others suggested she had been tipped off by a rival actor who wanted Aaron's spot in a major franchise. While these were largely fan theories with no confirmed evidence, the fact that they were even being discussed showed how far the narrative had moved from the pink print of their romance. The escalation was no longer just about a breakup. It was about the potential end of a career built on a specific type of male fantasy. The tension was so thick you could feel it through the screen. Every time Aaron posted a promotional clip for his new project, the comments were a wasteland of "Where's Teyana?" and "Who's the guy in London?" He was trapped in a cycle of his own making, unable to address the rumors without giving them life, but unable to ignore them without appearing guilty. The escalation had reached its peak, and the only thing left was the inevitable, emotional explosion that would change everything. The tension reached a boiling point during a viral live stream that many are calling the Night of Reckoning. It wasn't the usual Teyana Taylor vibe of dancing and playing with her kids. This was different. The lighting was low, the music was a somber instrumental, and Teyana appeared visibly drained. She spent over 45 minutes addressing the liars and performers who inhabit the industry. The raw emotion was palpable. This wasn't a performance, but a psychological unraveling of someone who felt she had been used as a prop in someone else's play. "You don't know the half of it," she whispered at the camera, her voice cracking with an emotional intensity that felt like a punch to the gut. Imagine giving your soul to someone, helping them build their house, only to find out they were building a secret room you were never invited into. Imagine being the face of a lie just so someone else can keep their image clean. She never mentioned Aaron by name, but the subtext was a deafening roar. She looked like a woman who had finally run out of excuses for a man who didn't deserve them. The stream was punctuated by a series of cryptic social media posts that she would upload and delete within minutes. One post simply read, "The man you see on the screen isn't the man who sits at my table. One is an actor. The other is a stranger." Another, even more alarming tweet, took aim at the industry for forcing people to hide who they are at the expense of the women who love them. The emotional volatility of these posts sent her fans into a collective mourning period. They weren't just angry, they were devastated for her. Fan reactions were trending globally, with #ProtectTeyana and #AaronPierre exposed fighting for the top spot. Longtime supporters posted videos of themselves crying in solidarity, their hearts breaking for a woman who had already been through so much public turmoil. "She just wanted to be loved," one fan said in a viral TikTok that garnered millions of views. "To find out it was all a mask, it's the ultimate betrayal." The emotional toll on the community was staggering, as fans questioned if any celebrity relationship was real. The breakdown wasn't just happening on Teyana's end. It was a collective breakdown of a fandom that had once seen them as the blueprint. The comments section of the live stream was a chaotic mix of prayers, "I knew it" comments, and demands for the full tea. Some fans posted evidence boards, trying to link Aaron's past interviews to Teyana's current pain. The betrayal felt intimate. It felt like a sister telling you a secret that you weren't supposed to know, but couldn't forget. During the live stream, there was a moment where Teyana stopped talking and just put her head in her hands. The silence lasted for nearly a full minute, and for that minute, the internet was quiet. It was a glimpse into the isolation of being the strong black woman, who is expected to handle everything with grace. Even with tens of thousands watching, she looked completely alone. The queen was in her palace, but the palace had become a place of ghosts and broken promises. The emotional intensity of that moment, the realization that she had been fighting for a ghost, was the most devastating part of the entire controversy. As the stream ended abruptly with the sound of a door slamming in the background, the aftershocks continued. Cryptic IG stories appeared showing Teyana packing boxes, then a shot of a sunrise with the word Genesis. The whiplash was exhausting for the public. The emotional stakes had been raised so high that there was no way to go back to red carpet smiles. The breakdown had exposed the raw nerves of a woman who was done being a secondary character in a leading man's vanity project. The final deleted tweet of the night was perhaps the most haunting. It read, "I'd rather be alone in the truth than coupled up in a lie. Goodbye, Aaron." It was the first time she had used his name. It was the confirmation the world was waiting for, and the heartbreak it wasn't prepared to handle. The breakdown wasn't just a moment of weakness, it was a declaration of independence. Teyana Taylor was no longer protecting the golden boy. She was saving herself. While the fans were screaming, the industry was doing something far more chilling. They were going silent. Brands that had spent millions on Aaron Pierre's sophisticated image suddenly scrubbed his name from their upcoming campaigns. There were no press releases, no formal statements of termination, just a quiet, clinical erasure. Media outlets that usually jumped at every Aaron Pierre interview were now posting cryptic op-eds about the burden of the leading man and the ethics of PR relationships without mentioning him by name. The shadow ban felt real, as if the entire corporate world had agreed to wait until the dust settled before deciding if he was still a viable asset. But the most telling reaction came from his peers. Public figures who once clamored to be seen with Aaron started posting cryptic quotes about authenticity and living in your truth. The unfollows were a slow, steady trickle that turned into a flood. Major directors, A-list co-stars, and fashion icons, names that were once linked to him in professional brotherhood, were no longer in his following list. It wasn't just a digital snub, it was a professional quarantine. Insiders suggest that a silent pact formed among top agencies to not book him for romantic roles until the Teyana situation was handled. According to observers, the industry wasn't just distancing itself, it was reorganizing. Rumors suggest that a major superhero franchise was re-evaluating his casting, citing creative differences that no one actually believed. The media silence was perhaps the most strategic move of all. By refusing to give him the platform of a public defense, the industry was effectively cutting off the oxygen to his brand. He was being starved of the prestige that had always been his greatest currency. We saw influencers who had built their entire careers on being Aaron Pierre fan accounts suddenly pivot to Teyana Taylor appreciation pages, their British BAE aesthetic nowhere to be seen. Prominent commentators, who had previously praised his stoicism, were now appearing on entertainment segments to explain why this was the end of the traditional leading man. The consensus was clear: he hadn't just broken a heart, he had broken the contract of expectation with his audience. And in an industry built on fantasy, that is the one sin that cannot be ignored. The silence extended to the award shows. Rumors circulated that a planned Rising Star tribute for Aaron was quietly pulled from a major telecast. While no official statement was made, the lack of an Aaron Pierre presence during the 2026 awards circuit was a glaring omission. It was as if a hole had been punched in the fabric of the industry's next big thing. The silence was louder than any cancel campaign could ever be. It was the sound of a pedestal being dismantled piece by piece. Even his former publicists were reportedly stepping away to focus on other clients. In the world of PR, when your publicist leaves during a crisis, the writing isn't just on the wall is falling down. "We wish him the best in his personal journey," became the standard response, a polite way of saying, "We can't spin this one." The isolation was total. The man who once boasted about the work was now the one that everyone was trying to work around. Some believe the industry reaction was too harsh, a form of modern-day blacklisting based on unverified personal details. But for most, it was a simple matter of marketability. Aaron Pierre had become a complicated figure. His presence brought questions, debates, and a fractured fan base. In the cold logic of Hollywood, loyalty ends where the Q rating drops. The industry didn't turn on him, they simply stopped seeing him as the safe, profitable bet he once was. It was a corporate divorce, and it was cold. As Teyana's numbers soared, Aaron's digital footprint seemed to shrink. The industry had made its choice. They would stand with the truth-teller over the actor. It was a shift in power that suggested a new era of Hollywood, one where the image is no longer enough to protect the man behind it. The cold shoulder wasn't just a reaction, it was a warning to every other golden boy waiting in the wings. But then something happened that no one saw coming, a twist that added a layer of intrigue to an already explosive situation. A new voice entered the conversation, a high-level producer who had worked with Aaron on his latest London-based project. In a series of leaked emails, the authenticity of which has not been confirmed, the producer discussed a third party involved in the London hotel incident. This wasn't just about Aaron and a man, it was about a high-stakes arrangement that involved a third, very famous individual. According to the speculation fueled by these emails, the other man in the photos wasn't a lover at all, he was a decoy. A resurfaced clip from a 2025 red carpet changed everything. In it, Aaron is seen whispering to a very prominent, married Hollywood mogul. The look on the mogul's face was one of pure panic. At the time, we thought it was just a professional exchange. Now, it looked like a moment of desperate coordination. The theory currently sweeping the internet suggests that Aaron Pierre wasn't caught with a man, he was protecting someone else who was. This resurfaced perspective reframed Aaron's guilt as a sacrificial act. Was he the liar, or was he the fall guy, for a powerful figure who couldn't afford to be seen? This twist was that the golden boy might actually be a martyr for the old Hollywood guard. Suddenly, the betrayal felt more like a conspiracy. If the rumors are true, Aaron had taken the hit for a powerful friend, trading his reputation for a favor that would secure his career for decades. This revelation didn't soften the blow for Teyana, but it changed